Hi, everyone. Hi, James, Arnold, Wendy, Claire. I'm so happy to see you. Thank you for joining. I know it's a very, hi, Fran, a very short notice tour. Hi, Tina, LA. Um, I didn't know, actually, up until last Friday, I didn't know if I actually would be able to run any tour about Purim for a very simple reason. Rabbi Liberman was out of town and he is my specialist, in all sorts of Judaism related issues and things and holidays and traditions and customs and whatnot. And also, I know that the Voyagers like him a lot. Hi, Kim. That's basically the reason why. Hi, Shoshana. Hag Purim Sameach. Hag Sameach to whom it may concern, to everyone who's celebrating Purim. And hello to everyone who's just joining to learn more and to broaden the scope, which is always fun and a very good thing to do for sure. Hello, Benita, Susan, Dottie. Thank you, Shoshana. Thank you so much. So we're going to start in a bit more than 7 minutes. As most of you know, the tour is pre-recorded for a very simple reason. Well, actually, two reasons which are constant is that most religious holidays you're not allowed to film the way as they go. You wouldn't really go to a synagogue to film a service. It's not how it goes, right? And the second reason is that Rav Liberman, who is a chief rabbi Chabad Ashkelon, yes, Shoshana, on Purim, but I say most of holidays. So he's a very busy man, and that's why it's not very easy to, to catch him and to ask for his time, for his availability, because it normally takes, the video itself, like the video that I have prepared for you today, is a bit more than 30 minutes long, but the way we prepare it, the range and everything, it takes twice as long as minimum. So it's usually more than an hour of Rebbe's time, and he doesn't get paid for it. Half of the donations, minus the commission of Hago, I donate to the construction of a synagogue. And today, before I start the video, I will show you what has been built so far. It's in my neighborhood, by the way. Hi, Renee. Hag Purim Sameach. Hello, dear. Hello, Australia. Amazing. What time is it there for you? I keep forgetting. It should be morning, but it should be probably around 7. Oh, 6. Okay. 6 a.m. Well, good morning. Good morning, dear. I wish I could schedule the tour at a bit more convenient time. I wish I could. I wish I had scheduled it, way before, like a week before, 2 weeks before, because the more time you have before the tour, the more audience you have, the more bookings, which is very logical. But that's not the case, unfortunately. So it is what it is. Hello, Cindy. Hi, Claire. You can rerun it. Well, I don't really see the point. It's about Purim. So rerunning it after the Purim, I don't see the point, really. And I'm not a big fan of rerunning tours, in fact. But the recording, however, will be available for sponsors. Yes. So I don't know. Maybe in some cases rerunning is good, but I don't think that holiday specials are really that worth rerunning. But obviously, rerunning is an option for all the other tours. Thank you, Claire. Renee, thank you so much for the tipping. Thank you. How are you doing, Cindy? Thank you, Sue. Rerun next Purim. Yes, Shoshana. Yes. Hi, Donny James. Hello. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you. I don't expect a big crowd today. But well, it's gonna be fun. It's going to be educate. Well, it's going to be education and entertainment. So edutainment. Do you say education? No, you don't say educational, right? Well, it's edutainment. So whatever. It's hot in Australia. We actually had a very, well, I would say chilly day today, about 20 educational ed, info, infotainment, invitation. What's the adjective of it? Invitational? Yeah, but like all of this together, blend a good adjective for me, please. You native speakers of English, help me out. Informative. Is it can you say eduformative? Eduformatation? I don't know. Neither have I. I've never really heard anything like that. Educational. You can say what you wish. Okay, Sue, thank you so much. So you're giving me carte blanche. Okay. I'm a linguist, I can go far with this. We should probably be very far from truth, but anyway. Fantastic is an adjective. Thank you. Better stick with education. It's going to be educational and fun. Okay. No. Anyway, okay. Let's skip it. Hi, Paul. Hello, hello. So, Chag Sameach to whom it may concern. Happy Purim. We're going to start in a few minutes. Fantastic. Yeah, edutainment is it's a noun, right? Hamantash. Okay, now let me read it. Okay, so it's okay. I say it's hamantash, but hamantashanastic. Okay. Okay. Speaking of which, look what I got. I have two. Fun and informational. Yeah, exactly. So they're also called the Osnei Aman. So could be something like that as well. Yeah, these are I think with the poppy seeds, but I'm not sure if there's a poppies. The thing is, I'm not allowed to eat one because this one of them is from my husband. I better be keeping it far from my hair, right? So he's really gonna eat it at some point. But the other one I can eat, but I don't want to because then he's gonna have the whole montage and I'm gonna have just half of it. So, but anyway, it's just the preps for the tour. Hello, everyone. We can create a new word. Yeah, we can create a new word. I love creating new words. I love it, and I love blending. I'm a linguist, so for those who are not exactly in the loop, so and I like really analyzing words, blending, creating new words. Most of the time, it's really something gibberish, but anyway, poppy seeds. Yeah, poppy seeds are fun. And delicious. This is true. Okay, so my dashboard tells me it's time to begin. Hello, Diane. Hello, everyone. So, my name is Anna. Most of you are well aware of that. And just like it's said in the description of the tour, we are having a Purim special tour tonight. It's a talk with the chief rabbi Chabad Ashkelon. Ashkelon, this is the city where I live. Rabbi Liberman, it's not the first time he's been with us. We've already talked to him. We've already had tours about Rosh Hashanah, about Yom Kippur. about Hanukkah, and maybe even something else. I don't remember. And Rabbi Liberman he's an amazing, a really, really amazing, he gives amazing speeches. He is, I mean, the connections he makes, the symbolism he talks about. I mean, it's fantastic. I'm really, really big fat Pesach. No, but well, not last time, but this year, hopefully, yes. And I'll try to arrange it as early as possible. Yeah, because Pesach is also around the corner. Happy Purim, Dorley. Hag Purim Sameach. Hello, hello. So, Paul, Hag Purim Sameach. Thank you so much. For those who are not, not exactly know what is going on, I'm not Jewish, and I don't feel like I'm really a specialist in such delicate topics as religious holidays and different customs in connection with that. So I have a specialist who's going to shed light on many objects of. I did Sukkot. And we also had a tour with a friend of mine, Abigail. By the way, she's sending her warmest regards to everyone. Hello, Olga. Hello. So, by the way, today is a especially festive day for me because Olga, our fellow Voyager from the States, is now in Israel visiting her friends and family, and we met today. And we shared some of the pics on the Facebook Voyagers page. So, and by the way, Olga, these are exactly the Hamantaschen from you and your friend Ina. So I'm trying to kind of keep them away from my hair, but I don't know. It could have been also like this because no one exactly knows either those are really Oznei, Aman, and we will talk about it, why they are called like ears, or why they are also called, why sometimes they are of triangular shape, because this was something that Ammon allegedly was wearing. Anyway, so these are wonderful attributes, very delicious attributes of Purim. And we're going to talk about other attributes as well, everything with Rabbi Liberman. The tour is pre-recorded because, well, Purim is not such a strict religious holiday that's, for example, let's say as a Pesach, as a Seder Pesach or Yom Kippur, that you're not allowed to film, you're not allowed to use electricity and many, many other things, It's not a holiday like that. But also, I don't feel very comfortable, going and filming how Megillot are being read. I don't feel like doing this. And also, Rav Liberman is a very busy man. He's chief rabbi Chabad Ashkelon. So he just recently returned from the overseas trip, and I was lucky to catch him on time. And he had about an hour and a half of his time on Friday. Friday is a very short day in Israel, right? It's the day before Shabbat. So luckily we have Rav Liberman with us, and 30 years, Dorley. Thank you so much for sharing all that. Absolutely. So let's talk about Purim. And I will be, so the video is in English. Rabbi Liberman is originally from the States, so there's no need for me to translate him, but there is a need to explain some things, and I will be pausing the video and adding some comments as well. So without further ado, I would like to switch to the other camera to turn on the lights, and then we'll begin. I'll try my hardest not to munch on all these Hamantaschen. We will talk about the Hamantaschen, don't worry. And I give you my word, I'm not going to touch them for now, at least for now. Okay, so let me turn off the lights. And as usual, as every tour that I run with Rabbi Liberman, the half of my proceeds from this tour, so which means minus the 40% commission of Hago, I will donate, as I've already done multiple times, to the construction of a synagogue. Okay, please let me know if everything looks okay. I hope it does. Thank you, Claire. You have a big heart. Thank you, Cindy. Well, um, this is because we should help, right? Everybody needs help from time to time, so it's great. And it's great to feel that you're making difference. So, and by the way, thank you everyone who donated to Ukraine on my tour, and also uh, to the Syria and Turkey earthquake relief as well. And just once again, I want to stress that as for my tours to support Ukraine, Hago, we've this commission, and they are also to donate their share to a Ukrainian cause. So thank you so much for doing that. It's like really these have been the month of kindness. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much, everyone, for your kind words. Kind words. Thank you for your tippings as well. So let the tour begin. You see a lot of attributes of the holiday here for sure. Well, the mask is here because we are allowed to dress up. I know usually, my religious friends, they don't like me comparing and just, the Western world comparing Purim to Halloween because these are very different holidays. The only thing in common with them, between the two holidays, because we are allowed to dress up on Purim. Well, Jews are allowed to dress up, but the grounds are absolutely different, and we will talk about it. Also, you see here Hamantaschen, so the delicious attribute of the holiday, and the Gagger, or what's the other word for it? I keep forgetting. Well, this is just to make some noise, and also we will explain why as the tour goes. Please feel free to ask questions, obviously, and only if I am able, I will answer. If I'm not able, we have also a lot of Israelis on tour. And if we are stuck, I will just jot the questions down and address them exactly to Rabbi Liberman. This is him. Well, he's always smiling. He's always full of energy. I mean, whenever I see Rabbi Liberman, I feel so inspired and spiritualized. I mean, and I'm not Jewish. I'm not a religious person myself, but since I've always been interested in cultures and culture studies and culture anthropology. So it's really, really no understanding religion. If you are not religious, well, you need to know what it is about, right? To know the country better, to learn about the culture. So the rattle, okay, and the rattle is also about that. The grogger, okay, good. Thank you so much.
Hi everyone. I'm very sorry. I wish I had a gimbal with me. I wish I looked better than I am now. But I have a tour tomorrow, the tour about Purim, the tour, half of the proceedings from which I, as usual, will be donated to the construction of a synagogue.
This is the video I made just yesterday, and it was about, I would say, 11:30 p.m. I was returning home from my classes, and I realized that I have never shown you the synagogue which is being constructed, to which we have been donating the money. So there you go. I wish I looked better, but it was the end of the day, and well.
And I've just decided to show you for which synagogue we've been raising funds. It's now behind my back. It's being constructed. You see this sort of scaffolding, the fence, and the bluish walls behind my back. So that's exactly the synagogue. And I just would like to thank each and everyone for the amazing support, for the interest in my talks with Rabbi Liberman. And I really appreciate all the kindness that you've been giving to me and Rabbi Liberman over these months. I only hope there's going to be even more tours to come. Thank you for everything.
So that's what it looks like. Obviously, these blue walls, the blue is probably the covering of, I don't know, of the facade. They're going to take it down soon. I mean, so it's going to look different, but this is the synagogue and it's my neighborhood. I see it from my balcony. So thank you so much for helping construct it. Okay, now let's get down to the tour per se. I just felt like I wanted you to see this, and also I've always provided documents, the proof of the funds being transferred. Okay, so there you go. Hi, Ronnie. Hi, good to see you. You're just on time. So we're going to talk about Purim. Before we get down to explanations of Rabbi Liberman, I would like also to, well, just to help you connect the dots. I assume that, and I know that many of those of you on tour are not Jewish. Many of you are well educated in the religious aspects, obviously. But still, let's assume that this is all new to us. And, well, we all need, some guidelines to understand what Liberman is going to be talking about. The holiday of Purim is it's a religious holiday, and it goes back to the times around 2,400 years ago. Dates sometimes differ a little bit, but this is the story that took place in Persia, in a Persian town. There was a king. There are several names. One of the was the different versions. There's different ways you would pronounce the name. Ahasuerus, Persian king, or Ahasuerus. I've also heard of some other ways to pronounce it. Also, the Haman. He's counselor, and Esther. And you might have come across, even if you're not Jewish or you're not interested in Judaism, but you might have come across numerous paintings about Esther by different artists. So this is Rembrandt, for example. This is Queen Esther by Edwin Long, end of 19th century. Many different artists throughout different periods of history would want to elaborate on the story of Esther, on Judaism. And this is a very important episode that from the Old Testament, the Jewish Bible, would also make its way to the New Testament, to Christianity in a way. And that's why you can also come across such paintings. Let me show you, like this one, and you will see this is Esther, and she doesn't look like a Jewish girl, like a Jewish lady. She looks very European because every artist would want to connect it to their background, right? So this is normal. This is fine. So you can find numerous paintings about Esther, and she would look different in each and every one of them. This is just fine. So be prepared for it if you haven't come across it before. So in a nutshell, so the story takes place in Persia. So there is a Persian king, Ahasuerus. This is the way it's comfortable for me to pronounce his name. And he had a wife, Vashti. But Vashti disagreed to strip before him and his guests. So he got rid of her. We understand what happened to her. And then, he finds another girl. There was a pageant, to find another woman, another wife, and it happened to be Esther. However, her original name was Hadassah, and she was Jewish, but nobody was supposed to know she was Jewish, so she pretended she was not Jewish. So her name was Esther, and the name Esther also has a deeper meaning and a translation, and Rabbi Liberman is going to talk about it. So, and Esther would be the person who would save the entire Jewish people who lived in Persia, in that town. And Rabbi Liberman is going to mention several more names. So there was a name Mordecai. So he was an uncle. Sometimes some sources say that he was a cousin to Esther. And Mordecai once saved life of Ahasuerus. So he was close to the court. And Haman, who was his counselor, he didn't like the Jews for a number of reasons. And Mordecai overheard him that that Haman was plotting something, was plotting to kill the Jews, and was talking the king, right, Ahasuerus, to kill the Jews. And Esther, we will talk about what happened after fasting, after also asking all the people of the Jewish people to fast for 3 days. She would come to Ahasuerus and she would say, "Hey, I'm Jewish, and he is going to kill the Jews, and Mordecai is the one who saved you once, so you should punish Haman, not the Jewish people." So that's how Esther saved the Jewish people. This is very, very superficially, I'm sharing with you the story, so you are in the loop, so you are now a little bit prepared for, I would say, a much more poignant things that Rabbi Liberman is going to talk about. Feel free to ask questions. Thank you so much, Olga, for the tipping. Okay, we carry on. So Rabbi Liberman is here. Good. And yeah, of course, this is one of my favorite Esters, by the way, by Pre-Raphaelite Jean Millier. I love Pre-Raphaelites. I don't know why. Amazing artists. And Esther looks very English here, right? He was an English artist, and she looks very different.
So,
it's fine.
hello, Rabbi Liberman.
Hello, hi, welcome once again.
Thank you so much for finding time. Thank you so much. So we are here to talk about Purim.
Purim, which is up and coming very soon. Very special, unique, and holy holiday for the Jewish people. And perhaps the whole secret, like everything else, is embodied in the name Purim. Purim, interestingly enough, perhaps you'll mention it later, is not a word in Hebrew, but it's a word that is in Persian, and it means lots, like a lottery, like a drawing. In other words, it's a relationship that's beyond the level of understanding. In other words, you have a rational relationship, and you have a relationship where you do something randomly, which appears to be randomly, like a lottery. And then we understand that even in what something appears to be random, actually is divinely and godly manipulated. And that's why the story of Purim, interestingly enough, is the only Jewish holiday which, aside from obviously Pesach, which was before we had the country of Israel, that took place after the destruction of the first temple and before the building of the second temple. It was during the period when the Jews were in exile, the 70-year period between the two temples, that they were in exile in Babylon and then in Persia.
So here is, of course, some background information. In Israel, I would say life, the whole historical timeline, it's separated into periods. The first temple, before the temple, the first temple, the second temple period, and after year 70 AD, when the second temple would be also destroyed. So basically, we have to take into consideration the first temple period, which was finished thanks to King Nebuchadnezzar in 586 BCE. So he was Babylonian king, and many Jews would be exiled to Babylon. And also to Persia. Then they would return shortly to build the second temple. So their exile would last for from 50 to 70 years. So by year 516 BCE, the small second temple would be constructed, and then it would be rebuilt by Herod. But that's a different story. So, but exactly after the Babylonian conquest, the story of Esther takes place. Okay, it's just very quickly to help you connect some dots of historical background. And that's how the first temple could have looked like. Of course, we don't have any, it's just the description that we gather from different sources and of course from the Testament.
That's when the story of Purim took place. And Purim is not a word in Hebrew. Purim is a word in Persian. And this goes to teach us and to tell us that even though could be the secular forces are the ones that are dominant, you do not speak Hebrew. And perhaps this is the reason why God's name is not mentioned in the entire book of the Megillus Esther. It is the only book of the 24 books of the Bible in which God's name is not mentioned at all. And this is to teach us that even though God's presence is hidden, and we do not see divine revelation, and could be the prevalent atmosphere that there is around us is a secular one, and not one that we see and hear of Israel, God's revelation. Nevertheless, it's the God, the one who manipulates and moves all the pieces.
So Rabbi Liberman is mentioning 24 books. So there is a set of 24 books in the Tanakh. So Tanakh is basically the combination of the three letters that stand for Torah. Nun stands for Nevi'im, the prophets, and the Ketuvim, so the writings, so the book of writings. So these are all the books, and you also find here the book of Esther over here. That's basically it. But this information you can find elsewhere. I just wanted you to understand what kind of 24 books Rabbi Liberman is talking about. Yes, Torah, Nevi'im, the Ketuvim. So Tanakh, Tet, Nun, Kuf. Well, so Tanakh, okay.
Are you familiar with the story of Purim? Perhaps. Okay, you've read it. If you take a look at the story of Purim, and we take a look, we don't see any unique miracle that takes place during the story of Purim. Pesach, Hanukkah, I think we mentioned a little bit of oil burned for 8 days. There was a tremendous military victory. Pesach, God took the Jews out of Egypt. He had the 10 plagues. He had the splitting of the Red Sea. The Jews ate the manna in the desert. Sukkot, we celebrate very unique divine clouds of glory that encircled the Jewish people. Purim, no miracle took place. Everything was just a chain of natural events. But it's this chain of natural events that brought about the great salvation of the Jewish people at the time. And in spite of the fact that Haman wanted to destroy the Jewish people, nevertheless they were saved. And if we take a look at the Megillah Esther, the word Megillah comes from the word Gilui, comes from revelation. Esther, the word Esther comes from the word hiding. Megillat Esther is the revelation of that which is hidden, a deeper dimension of existence that there is in this world. And the secret of Purim is that God runs the world in very many strange ways. Sometimes we see something which is a miracle, which is a very open and very clear miracle and divine intervention, and that takes place in the world. But there is also sometimes divine intervention in the world through the forces of the world, not breaking the laws of nature, so to speak. But within the laws of nature and through the laws of nature, God brings about his ultimate design and will. And this is the secret of the holiday of Purim This is the secret of the holiday of Purim as we celebrate it. That we do not need a miracle for the divine will to be revealed, but sometimes the divine will is revealed even through the laws of nature. That's what Purim is all about. And just like as we see today, Israel is undergoing, perhaps you've heard, very many different political and different type of crises and challenges at the moment. And as a religious Jew, I just take a look back and I say history is repeating itself. The entire story, book of the Megillat Esther that we mentioned about, the book of Esther, the final and 24th book of the Bible, the final 24th book of the Bible, tells this story of the divine intervention and manipulation through political events, through natural occurring events, not through earth-shaking miracles, and nevertheless it brings about his ultimate will and the fulfillment of the divine creation and his particular care that he has for his children, the Jewish people.
I'm so sorry. Even if it's pre-recorded, I just don't feel that I can pause Rabbi Liberman and interrupt him whenever I want. But I wanted to just read the those who have just joined us. Virginia, Hadrian, hello everyone. Thank you so much for joining. So we are talking about Purim, and Rabbi Liberman found time for us to talk about the origin, the history, and the deep meaning, the deeper understanding of what Purim is about. So we are not even halfway through, so
that's what we see happening today. The world does not change. The Jewish people always had its enemies, and we aren't afraid of them. We've survived already for thousands of years, and we'll continue to survive.
So what are we looking at, Rabbi Liberman?
Okay, so we're looking at, like it says over here, Megillat Esther. Megillat Esther, as we refer to Megillah, means the revelation of the hidden. That's a deeper explanation of what it says here. What it literally says is the scroll of Esther. She was chosen by the king to become the queen of Persia. She was chosen by the king to become the queen of Persia. And here in the scroll of Esther, it tells the story about Achashverosh, and he was then the king of Persia during the 70-year period between the first temple and the second temple. And he chose, firstly, he killed his wife Vashti. And then he chose Haman as his viceroy. And Haman did not like the Jewish people. Won't go into the details. But basically, he saw that Mordechai was not subservient to him. And this irked him very much. This irked him that Mordechai was not subservient to him and did not bow down to him, was not subjugated to him in any way. On the contrary, when he saw Haman, he looked at him with disdain and with utter contempt. And this irked Haman very much, that he decided that it's not enough for him to kill Mordechai, but to kill all the Jewish people. Because all the Jewish people are in essence little Mordechais, even though they didn't necessarily express the contempt that they had to Haman outwardly, but inside he felt that they all felt the same contempt for him. And so he decided that he has to have a plot to kill all the Jews, and he goes to Achashverosh and he asks permission to be able to kill all the Jewish people. They're just negligible. They aren't important. They don't, what are they? At the moment, with 13 million, 0.0%, something, not just negligible. and it won't make any difference if we kill them. And Achashverosh agrees, and meanwhile Mordechai overhears that there's a plot to kill Achashverosh. One night the king cannot sleep, and if the king cannot sleep, he reads to read the royal chronicles, and they read the story on how Mordechai saved Mordechai saved the life of the king. Well, once the king saw that Mordechai saved the life of the king, he decided he has to reward Mordechai, and he chooses Haman to reward Mordechai.
Oh, Sue, thank you so much for sharing. I actually didn't know that Melvin is the one of the versions of the name Mordecai. I didn't know that. Thank you so much for sharing. Oh, sorry. And thank you everyone for your donations, half of which will be donated to the construction of the synagogue. Thank you so much, everyone. Let me fix it a little bit. Okay, we move on.
And meanwhile, Esther invites the king to a feast. And this is where it's really very interesting and important that Esther, prior to her meeting with Achashverosh, she says she's going to fast for 3 days, right? Mm-hmm. And the question is, if Esther was chosen because she found favor in the eyes of the king Achashverosh, and she wasn't called to visit the king for 30 days prior to it. In other words, the king didn't really think about her much. Obviously, what should she have done? She should have got dressed in her finery, and she should have really eaten well to make sure she looks the best. You know what happens when you don't eat for 3 days? You get these big black bags under your eyes, and you get very ashen and weak, and you don't look your best. Why is it that Esther fasted for 3 days, and she told all the Jewish people should fast for 3 days before visiting the king? She should have got dressed her best and eaten her best, got into the best mood. Why is that so? So perhaps you can understand it very briefly. I think we mentioned previous times we have schools and kindergartens and many different educational institutions here in Ashkelon. And I guess one time in our kindergarten we brought a puppet show. Puppet show. Yeah. And my daughter comes home. I have a little daughter in kindergarten at the time, and she comes home and she says, "Mommy, you should have seen the doll we had in kindergarten. It's not like this dead doll that we have over here at home that can't move or do anything. There was a doll that could jump and walk and not talk, but move, pick up its hands." So my wife tried to explain, there was somebody pulling some strings, and if you pull the strings, So she says, "Well, listen, you weren't there. I was there. I saw the doll jumping and moving. I didn't see any strings. There were no strings." And us as adults, if we were to go, for example, to a puppet theater and go onto the stage, and we see the puppet, we stand next to the puppet, and all of a sudden the puppet picks up his hand and wants to hit us. Are we going to talk to the puppet? Or are we going to talk to the one that's pulling the strings up above? Where are we going to talk to? We'll talk to the one who's pulling the strings. And that's what Esther understood. Haman, Achashverosh, they're only puppets of the one who's pulling the strings above. If we're okay with the one who pulls the strings above, everything with Achashverosh and Haman will work out. We have to invest our efforts, not with Achashverosh, not with Haman, but the one who's pulling the strings. If our relationship with the one who's pulling the strings is fine, then the puppet below isn't going to want to hit us. And that was true then, and as we mentioned before, that's true today. We don't have to worry about any of the enemies that surround the Jewish people. We don't have to worry about any of these so-called world leaders that surround the Jewish people. We have to develop and make sure that our relationship with the one above is in order, with the one who pulls the strings is in order. Once our relationship with the one who pulls the strings in order, then all of the puppets that are below will also fall into line, will also fall into place. That's one of the secrets that there is in the story of Purim that we read.
So there is no need thus to mention God because we see His will in everything.
Well, it's not that there's no need to mention the God. It is that God manipulating everything. But the idea that God's name is not to mention is because even when God is hidden, for example, today there's no miracles of splitting the Red Sea or any other. They're amazing things. If you look a little deeper, you see amazing things that are happening all around us. But there's no bombastic miracles like splitting of the Red Sea today. And probably the reason is, even if a miracle like that were to take place, immediately we'll have a group of scientists trying to give us some sort of rationale and explanation for these amazing occurrences. So even if a miracle takes place, people who don't want to see the miracle will not see the miracle.
True.
Okay. And so this is the story of the Megillah, even though it's read during the course of a half hour, 45 minutes on Purim evening and Purim by day. Really, it's a story that takes 12 years from the beginning till the end. It's a 12-year chronicle of what took place in the city of Shushan some 2,500 years ago.
Wow. What we see here, wine.
Right, okay, because wine represents one of the underlying messages that we have in Purim. One of the ideas of Purim is that we can't take a look at things superficially. Superficially, we could just think that there's a whole bunch of political events that take place, and this is how it happens.
Here I also have to probably clarify a few things, and Dole is also here to comment on this, absolutely. So Dole is saying that we need miracles applications. Yes, Israel is going through challenging times with the protests, with the democracy being at risk. So the new judicial reforms that the new government that's been recently elected. Oh, it's already how long? Like half a year? How many months that we've already had the new government? So, the country, the society of Israel has been it's really split. It's like more like people versus politicians, and the massive strikes and protests happen nearly every day. So yes, the country is really going through challenging times. So let's see what it takes us to. And I'm not just mentioning numerous other challenges that are happening now. And one thing is when you see it on the news, and the other thing is just when you are in the country and you're here, you're seeing this. So yeah, that's different. So that's what Rabbi Liberman is referring to. So just for those who are not following the news or like international news, this is just for you to, understand what we are referring to at the moment.
We understand that all of these political events are orchestrated. Wine is something which is in nature with several things. First of all, it brings out what is hidden within us. If you drink a little bit too much wine, then all of your secrets that there is within you, all of a sudden they come out. Or like, the person said he doesn't like to eat grapes. Why doesn't he like to eat grapes? Because he doesn't like to drink his wine in pill form. He likes to likes to drink the wine as it is. See, wine is actually hidden within the grape. It has to be squeezed in order for it to reveal its essence that there is within it. And this is the secret of Purim. Perhaps you're familiar.
Yeah, I love this. I think I'm now going to use this joke every time. So I don't like to take the one in the shape of a pill, in the form of a pill. That's and what I like about Purim is this is one of those holidays that you are actually not allowed even, but you're encouraged to get a bit tipsy, intoxicated. You're encouraged to eat a lot. Well, you're encouraged to dress up. You're encouraged, to dress up, and it's all like really just, your fantasy, your imagination is here really to to set the boundaries. So that's, I mean, of course, you know what I'm talking about, but this is what I like about Purim. Even though it's a religious holiday, and of course there are certain things to be followed, and there is logic behind everything and the meaning, but so I like the message.
Things we do on Purim is we get dressed
Yes,
up.
and make noise.
And one of the secrets of getting dressed up is that the exterior is not similar to the interior. Interior, we have a beautiful, nice person. Outside, if you get dressed up in any one of the many divisions or different types of costumes or princesses or queens or whatever the children decide to get dressed up to. And that's the secret, that we live really on two dimensions many times in our life. One of the things we do in preparation, so this is a special charity box that is used prior to the holiday of Purim. It says here, Zecher Lamachatzita Shekel. At the time when the temple was, or even the first year when the Jewish people left Egypt, everybody gave a half a shekel when God counted them, or when Moses counted the Jewish people. And this is what is given annually till today in remembrance of what was given during the time when the temple stood. That's what it means. Zecher, remembrance of Machatzit HaShekel. And this you could see in many different synagogues, many different places, that we give this Machatzit HaShekel. And what's the idea of Machatzit HaShekel? The Torah tells us that when you count the Jewish people, you should not count them 1, 2, 3 by number, but you should count them through giving a machasita shekel in order that there should not be a plague when they are being counted. And the question is, what difference does it make if you count through giving a half a shekel, or if you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Why, if you're counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there will be a plague if you count them. And if everybody gives a half a shekel coin, then when you count all of these half a shekels, you're going to arrive at the same conclusion. You'll know how many people there are. Why does this bring a plague when you count them individually? When you count them through a half a shekel coin, there is no plague. The system of counting till today, when we come to count 10 people for a quorum, they are not counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But we have a passage. It says, Ushia es hamecho, varech es nachlesecha, ulem benasim ad olam. There's 10 words in that passage. Yeah. And this way I know that we have 10 people and we fulfilled the quorum.
The quorum, yes.
Quorum.
Okay.
And through every year in Israel, during the time the Beis Hamikdash, a census was taken to count how many Jewish people there were. And they weren't counted 1, 2, 3, 4, but they were counted by the fact that every single person had to give a half a shekel.
Okay.
Right? And that was the process, and this was one time, during the time of King David, he did not count the Jewish people 1, 2, 3, 4, through giving a half a shekel, but he counted them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a terrible plague broke out.
Okay.
Okay? And so the question is why? What is it? So one of the understandings is, and that's perhaps one of the reasons why, all right, the Talmud said during the month of Adar is the time of giving of this half a shekel. And today we make sure before the reading of the Megillah, that would be Sunday night, Monday night, everybody would give the half a shekel till today. And the reason is because when you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you count a person as a whole number, you think you see this person in his entirety. But when you come to giving a half a shekel, you realize this part of the person that you see is only half of the person. There's another dimension of the person which is hidden, a much deeper dimension of the person. You cannot judge the person only on his external revelation, on his behavior, on his speaking, on the ideas that he represents. Because there's a much deeper part of the person, and part of his personality, and part of his being, which is not revealed. His inner essence, we do not see. And this is how we have to be able to judge another person, not only on his exterior revelation. And that's the idea of giving the half a shekel. And this is one of the ideas that we have in Purim, that not only by seeing people do we not see the entire who they are, and there's a deeper dimension, but even in the world, there's a deeper dimension. Like we mentioned before, the children get dressed up, and they dressed up in a costume. Because we wear a costume a whole year. And the job is to find out who we really are. Take, for example, we have a custom Purim, we eat a hamantashen. Are you familiar with the hamantashen? No, stay haman.
Yeah.
Do you know how to make a stay haman?
No,
what you do is you have a piece of dough and you put inside chocolate or jam or poppy seeds, and then you cover it up with the rest of the dough. Yeah. So the jam and the poppy seed, the chocolate, the really sweet stuff, that's hidden. From the outside, it just looks like it's a superficial piece of dough. Oh, but you bite inside and you see what there is in the essence. Oh, it's really sweet. It's really special.
I'm drooling already.
But I'm drooling. Okay. So that's the idea of the foods that we eat on Purim, to show that there is a hidden dimension of everything that we see only superficially.
And drinking wine
also brings out the hidden dimension that there is in a person. And that's the idea of the Machatzita shekel, and that's the entire story of Purim.
And what are these things?
Okay, these things are a Okay, and what does a graga do? Okay, so we have do you remember the dreidel?
Yes. Oh my goodness! Thank you so much for sharing. For sharing your stories, and I also find this idea. Well, I need to comment a little bit, right, on this the way you count the Jews, and it's interesting. And Rabbi Liberman was referring to a quorum, which is called a minyan. This is the minimum number of people, like 10. If we have a quorum, then we can go with the religious service, and the synagogue. And this is quite interesting. I didn't know about it, but it also gives you certain perspective. It gives you some understanding, right? And just like I told many times, Judaism is so full of symbolism, is so full of metaphors. And sometimes it's like you need to read between the lines, and in between the lines that you read between the lines. So that's what I like about Rabbi Liberman, is so well at explaining these things. It's like really opening so many secrets to us, so many answers are being opened within just, 1 minute of the time I'm with him. And yeah, of course. So just, of course, I'm still holding myself not to eat all those hamantashen.
The dreidel last time, That was spinning something.
Yeah.
And here we have the grinder with another spinning something. And what's the difference between them? So there's several differences. One of the differences is I don't see any dreidels now. Now it's not Hanukkah time, but the dreidel we spin from the top.
Mm-hmm.
And the grabber we spin from below.
Mm-hmm.
Below. Well, what would be the reason for this strange arrangement? And one of the reasons is that in the spinning of the dreidel of the Sivivon, the dreidel from above, because then everything was divinely manipulated. Like we said, there was a tremendous miracle that the Jews won the war, which is something which is logically impossible. Again, a little bit of oil burned for 8 days, something which is logically impossible. It was all divinely orchestrated from above, and you were able to see the divine intervention from above. Mm-hmm. Purim is where everything looks as if it comes from below. And this is the grabber that makes noise, that's from below. Everything that took place was from below, from a divine intervention was not revealed. And on Purim, we understand, even though it seems as if we're the ones moving the pieces, it's really from above that everything takes place. Because when something changes its state of being, it makes a lot of noise. If you make an atomic bomb, wow, it makes a big noise. Similarly, when we take another level and reveal a new level of divine revelation in this physical world, it has a lot of noise. Just like by the giving of the Torah, there was a lot of noise when the Torah was given. Mm-hmm. Similarly, a lot of noise we make during the holiday of Purim when we take the state of being and it becomes a new state of being. We think it's physical manipulation. We think it's political manipulation. We think it's political news that is taking place when really it's a divine revelation that there is in this world. What we have over here we have cases, as you see here, it also says Megillat Esther, and here it does not say.
Yes,
it says Megillat Esther. I don't know if you can make it out. These scrolls, this scroll that we saw over here was a scroll made out of paper for children, but this is to house the real thing. It's made out of parchment, handwritten. It has to be written exact. Every single letter has to be. It's very unique and special, special design.
Wow, beautiful.
And this is one of the secrets, as we said, Megillat Esther, the revelation of the hidden state of being that there is in the world. So these are very special. These are special cases. There's an iftach. Okay. You put in. This is attached to the scroll. Mm-hmm. This is how they house it in the case, and this is for a smaller one. This is for a larger one. As you can see, also houses the Megillat Esther in.
Okay. And where can you buy that Megillat Esther?
Okay, you can buy one. It costs a couple $1,000. It takes a scribe about a month to write it, and it's in Megillah. Okay, no. Okay.
Of course, I can understand.
No, but there is one here that they'll use it for. They'll use a proper scroll.
Okay. What are all these books about?
Okay, so these books discuss different aspects about the holiday of Purim. This is a book about the holiday of Purim, which is coming, and this is part of a series of holidays with the Rebbe of Lubavitch, with the Rabbi Schneerson, and here we have many different stories and happenings that occurred with the Rebbe during the holiday of Purim. One of the interesting stories is that took place in, I think it was in 1953. Is that when Stalin died? 1953.
Yes.
So he died on the holiday of Purim.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it was something very unique. It was the Rebbe had a big gathering of all of his followers, and they were there. And then he started to tell it. Then he gave a lecture. He said, and then he said, "No, I'll tell you a story." That it was the beginning of the time when the whites were fighting with the reds. I don't know if you're familiar.
Oh, yeah.
And
first, let Rabbi Liberman explain, and then I will just clarify a few things. But I'm absolutely amazed that Rabbi Liberman has brought up this story, which is so much connected also with my background, and I didn't know about it. And yeah, actually, Stalin had a massive stroke on Purim, and in 1953, he died on the 5th of March. So just today is the 6th, so yesterday was the anniversary of Stalin's death.
Some sort of election, and there was this Hasidic Jew, and they told him that he should go and join the election. He doesn't, he didn't, but everybody had the ability to go vote, and he had to go vote for this particular person. And prior to the elections, each one of the candidates is going to give a speech. And when this person finishes speaking, you should yell, "Hurrah, hurrah, hurrah." Okay? All right. This person really didn't get the message. And the Rebbe tells a story. When he got up and he finished speaking, he got up and he started yelling, "Hoorah!" What does hoorah mean? He is bad. Instead of hoorah being encouraging, he says hoorah.
Yeah, okay, in Hebrew. Yeah.
In Hebrew, hoorah means he is bad. And then the Rebbe told the story and he started saying, "Hoorah, hoorah." And then all the Chassidim, the emotion that all the students, followers should say together, "Hoorah, he is bad, he is bad, he is bad." And then a few days later, they found out at the same time when all of the Chassidim were yelling, "Hoorah," that he is bad, he suffered a violent stroke that he eventually died from. And that's...
wow. Okay.
And that's one of the stories that's mentioned over here in this book. And it's... and all of the other very unique things that took place during the many years of the Rebbe's leadership, and many of these ideas that we have on the book of Esther, on kind of as a commentary on the book of Esther, that gives us a little bit of a deeper understanding of why we're celebrating this unique holiday. Because we don't celebrate the holidays because they occurred in the past. But we believe that the same divine revelation that brought about the holiday on the first time is revealed today, in our day as well. Purim is a day where we can bring about tremendous revelation and salvation for the Jewish people even today. That's why we celebrate Purim.
Thank you, Rabbi Liberman. Amazing.
Okay.
Thank you for giving all the insights. It's really important to read in between the lines and to know the interpretations, of course.
Otherwise, it has no value. Otherwise, the only thing you'll gain from the holidays is a couple of kilo. And that's I know that some people say that, if we take a look at the Jewish calendar, so if you want to sum up all of the Jewish history, it's okay, they wanted to kill us and they persecuted us, and at the end we won, so let's go eat. So that's what the Jewish holidays are all about. But it's not just go eat. We have to bring the revelation into physical existence in this world. That's what it's about.
Thank you so much, Rabbi Liberman, for finding time to tell us this wonderful story. Thank you.
Okay, is this clear? Is that, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh,
sure,
okay,
very good. Okay, so please don't be surprised to see Peter the Great here. First, give me a few minutes. I know we are overrunning, and I'm notorious for overrunning, and I'm very, very sorry. So I'm gonna need probably another 5 minutes or so, and feel free to send your questions in. And KM, so I didn't comment on your question because I think Rabbi Liberman has pretty much clearly expressed the meaning of it. So obviously God's activities and everything, and also in the holiday of Purim as well, of course, divine intervention. But it could be seen in the shape of in the form of a big bombastic miracle, just like Rabbi Liberman mentioned, or it could be just a political event that was actually orchestrated in a way by a divine power. So speaking about Peter the Great is going to be a sort of a teaser. But about Stalin, yeah, I actually looked it up. Yeah, there was a story. So the whole thing happened in 1953 in March in New York. The Lubavitch Rebbe, Menachem Schneer's son, was given a speech, and he was referring to a story that took place in the 19th century, when a Jew saw an official procession of a Russian emperor, and he heard people saying "Hoorah, hoorah," which is hooray, right? Hoorah, hooray! But he thought they were actually yelling "Hoorah! He is bad." And then this emperor, this emperor was Paul the First. It's not really relevant, but this emperor would die in a few days, and it was around Purim. And also, for some reason, the Lubavitch Rebbe brought this up on that day, and the congregation would. So since the rabbi is saying us to yell "Hoorah," why not doing that? Of course they did. And then a few days later, they learned that Stalin had a massive stroke on that day on Purim, and then in 3 days, Stalin died. So, hurrah, hurrah, right? Okay, and about Peter the Great. So, Peter the Great is the founder of my city, St. Petersburg. And for those who are not in the loop, I am originally a tour guide from St. Petersburg, Russia. But because of the war, I am in Israel. We relocated to Israel almost a year ago, together with my family. And I'm now starting to become a tour guide to Israel. But thanks to Hago, I still run tours about my hometown. And the Hago knows my position, towards what Russia is doing in Ukraine, so it's not a secret. And you can now, we've run many tours about St. Petersburg and about the Hermitage Museum and about Catherine Palace Amber Room. More tours are scheduled already about St. Petersburg. So, but here's one connection that I've never actually had a chance to share with you, but now there is this time to share. So there is one painting again by Rembrandt. Haman recognizes his fate. And so here is kind of two things I would like to talk to you about. So, Haman Taschen, right? So we don't really know why these cookies, this pastry is called this way. So it's either the pockets, or it's of a shape because it looks like the turban that Haman was wearing. Or why is it Oznei Aman in Hebrew, the ears of Aman? I don't know. Okay, he could have had some triangular ears. We don't know, right? But this painting by Rembrandt, okay, let's not this one, not with the cookie, obviously, but the other one without the cookie. Okay, this one. This is the first Rembrandt that ever made its way to Russia. So now this painting by Rembrandt is in the Hermitage Museum, and it was purchased by Peter the Great. Happy Purim. For those who are not celebrating, thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much. I commend you for your interest, for your hunger for knowledge. Thank you so much. Mark, hello, dear. I'm just about to wrap it up, but thank you so much for joining. Mark is an amazing Amsterdam guide, and just a few weeks ago we met in Israel, and he did an amazing charity tour, and I and I was honored to be a part of it too. Please follow Mark if you're not following, if you haven't seen any of his tours, which I doubt but anyway, yeah, you missed it, but of course I'll send you the recording, don't worry. And I've just mentioned Rembrandt, by the way. So the painting, so this painting, or Aman recognizes his fate by Rembrandt. It's actually the first Rembrandt that ever made its way to St. Petersburg. It's now in the Hermitage collection. Rembrandt, Aman recognizes his fate. So, and you want it back? No. You have enough. Okay, I'm joking. I love you so much, Mark. Thank you so much for dropping by, even for a few minutes. Thank you so much, Dolly. You're always helpful. Shoshana, you're always here to help me with things about Judaism. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for your donations. So half of the proceeds, minus the commission of Hago, I will donate to the construction of the synagogue, which you have seen in the beginning of the tour. If you missed the tour, you can watch the recording. It's available for sponsors. There are gazillions of tours that prepared for March. So first of all, there's going to be more tours about St. Petersburg. Maybe not the first one, but anyway, there are going to be tours about Tel Aviv. On the 22nd, I'm taking you to the Rothschild Boulevard. There's going to be a massive collaboration with Olga, our guide from Odessa, who runs amazing tours about Jewish diaspora in Ukraine and in Eastern Europe. So we're going to be talking about few Jewish families that have big connection with Odessa, with St. Petersburg, and with Israel. So these tours are going to be, we're going to have 2 tours, back-to-back tours on the 18th of March. It's Saturday. So it's scheduled. If you're not following my channel, please do. If anybody could share the link, that would be fantastic. So make sure you get notifications just when to stay in the loop, to know when I schedule new tours. My husband, Nisha, starting from next weekend, next Sunday, is going to be running 4 tours every Sunday about the history of Jewish diaspora in the Russian Empire, starting from 18th century till the 21st century. And many more tours are coming your way. I'm short of breath. Okay, I'm done. This is it. I hate overrunning, but I'm sorry for it. Okay, this would be it. Thank you so much for joining. It's been fantastic. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you for your interest, for your participation, and bye-bye. And of course, I would like to wrap it up with something nice. And I think Haman and his amazing hat would be the best way to say bye-bye. Thank you so much for sharing the link. Thank you. And by the way, the tours that Rabbi Liberman's been referring to, such as Hanukkah or Yom Kippur, the recordings are also available for sponsors. And yes, we are planning to record something for Pesach. So this would be it. So Haman wearing an amazing hat. So this is the second version that Rembrandt also worked on, but never really told anyone that he had it. So Mark, just in case, maybe you can have this one. Well, yeah, why not? Okay, this will be it. Bye-bye, dears. Definitely the hat. Yeah, I don't see the connection with the ears. Like, really, how can it be ears? But okay, Haman Taschen. Bye-bye. Thank you for sharing everything. Thank you. Bye-bye. Oh my goodness. Bye.